Chapter 14 is going to be all about identifying points, lines, rays, line segments, angles, planes, and talking about things being parallel and perpendicular. So, lesson 14.1 is about points, lines, and planes. So, I've got a table here with our terms, our definitions, and how we are going to name them. So, a point names a single location. And we worked with points last chapter on the coordinate plane, ordered pairs. We plotted points. Points are named with capital letters. And just the capital letter. Literally, that is point A in the image. Its name is just the capital letter A. We do not include the word point or a symbol for point. It is understood in mathematics that if there is a capital letter by itself, it's standing for a point in space or on a plane. It's standing for the name of a point. The next thing we have is a line, which we also saw last chapter in section 4 when we plotted equations. It's perfectly straight and goes forever in both directions, meaning there are arrows on both ends. So to name a line, we need 2 letters, 2 points on a line. Any 2 points will do. So here, the 2 points on this line are A and B. So this is line AB. To write that name, we write the letters AB together, and we put the symbol of a line above it. And the symbol of a line is just a line. So we know we're talking about the line AB when we see AB together and a line above it. This could also be line BA. This is true because it doesn't matter where I start or where I end, because lines don't actually start or end. They go on forever and ever. Next up is a plane. A plane is a perfectly flat surface that extends forever in all directions. So the top of your desk, the top of a table, the front of a table, the left classroom wall, the top or the ceiling, the floor. Those are all examples of planes. They're flat. Okay. Yes, in the real world, they stop eventually. Just like in the real world, there are no lines because every line ends somewhere and starts somewhere. So the idea of something going on forever doesn't apply to reality, but we do talk about it mathematically. So a plane is a perfectly flat surface. To name a plane, we use the word plane and then 3 letters. Here, I'm just going to use A, B, and C. Could I have put those 3 letters in a different order? Absolutely. That could have been plane ACB, BAC, CBA, CAB. So long as there are 3 letters, and they are not all on the same line. Okay, you can clearly see here, I cannot connect A, B, and C without turning somehow, so those are good letters to use. I'll come back to that not on the same line thing later. A segment now, or more properly a line segment, is the part of a line between 2 points. So these absolutely exist in the real world, and these are what we generally think of when we say line. Okay, but we're specifically mathematically, we're saying start here, end here. So this line segment could be called line segment AB. So just like for the line, we would put AB next to each other, and we'll put a bar above them. But that's it. We don't put anything on the ends of the bar. You could put points on the end of it. You don't need to. You definitely don't put arrows on it because arrows say it goes on forever, and that's not what we're talking about here. Here we're talking about specifically this bit of line between points A and B. Just like a line, the name of a line segment can be reversed. So this could also be line segment BA instead of AB. The reason this is true is because it starts and stops. So if you go on forever, or you start and stop, we can reverse your name. The last bit we're going to talk about is array. An array starts, but never stops. So it starts at one point and goes forever in one direction, which means it's going to have one arrow. Here, we can only name this ray AB. We cannot name it ray BA because this ray starts at A and travels through B and goes that way forever. That's the direction the arrow lies in. BA here on this diagram only is a line segment because it ends at A. Nothing goes beyond A. Real fast, take a note. A line, so look back up here. A line can have multiple things on it. We can have line AB, but we could also just talk about the line segment AB from the line. We could also talk about ray AB if we started at A and said, hey, we're going to go that way forever. And we could talk about the different ray BA. The different ray goes in a different direction. But a line is just two rays on top of one another going in opposite directions. So, with this, we're going to come down to this diagram, and we're going to name some points, some lines, a plane, a line segment, and an array. We're going to name all these things. So, name 4 points. Well, there are only 4 points on the diagram. They are Q, R, S, and T. So I'm going to name them. Remember, we don't use the word, we don't use a symbol, we just write the capital letter. We will separate those with commas. That is because when we get to doing shapes in chapter 17, 19, 20, 21, when we don't put commas between capital letters, we're naming shapes. So, commas between the letters for points, please. Name a line. Well, on this diagram, there's a line down here, and that's the only line, with an arrow on both ends. The thing is, we name a line using 2 letters that are on it. So, there are a bunch of different possible names. Literally, use any 2 of those letters. So that could be line QS. Remember, put the letters right beside each other and put a line above them. That's not the only possible name. Okay, you don't need to write the rest of these. I'm just going to include them so you can see them. You could also have line QR. You could have line RS. And you could have the reverse of all of those. Any 2 letters on the line can be used to name it. So you have lots of options. Name a plane. Okay, some of you are probably looking and saying, okay, what's this little italicized curly Z thing up here? Well, it's a possible name for the plane. This could just be plain Z. We know that's the name for a plane and not a point because there's no point near it. A lot of planes will have an italicized or a curly letter somewhere on them to use a single letter name. But let's say you don't want to use that, and you want to call it plain 3 letters. The only rule for that is you cannot use 3 letters that are all on the same line. So QRS is a big no-no. However, you can use 2 of those and T. So this could be plain QTS, QST, QRT, RTS, RTQ. It just can't have Q, R, and S all together. Okay. There's a name for those 3 points, specifically choosing 3 points that aren't on the same line. Okay. And that word is non-collinear. Non means not. I suppose I should probably change colors. Co means same. And linear means line. Non-collinear means not on the same line. When you name a plane, you must use 3 non-collinear points. Provided that we are taking tests in class, and, just a note for anybody actually watching the video, I am recording this in the morning on July 28th, 2020, so COVID-19 is still very much a thing right now. And while we plan on starting this coming school year in person, I don't know how long it'll last. You might be watching this video 3 years from now because you were absent from school. So if we're in class in person taking tests the good old-fashioned way where I pass them out, you complete them, hand them back, on the Chapter 14 test, I will offer you bonus points if you can spell and define non-collinear. Spelling it correctly, NONCOLLINEAR, and defining it as not on the same line. I'll give you a bonus point for doing each of those. Name a line segment. Okay, lots and lots and lots of options here. That's a line segment. That's a line segment. That's a line segment. And I'm going to do this below so it doesn't overlay it, but that's a line segment from Q to S. You can't use like TQ and TS because they're not connected. So literally any pair there can be a line segment. It could be QR. It could be RS. It could be RT. It could be QS. And again, because these are line segments, they can all be reversed. Name array. Well, the obvious one, I think, is ray RT. Right there. However, it's not the only one. It's just the one that your eye is meant to be drawn to. I'm not going to write these names down, but I will show them to you before I end the video. There is ray QS. There is ray SQ, because there's an arrow in that direction as well. There is ray RS. There's ray SR. Ray SR is the same thing as ray SQ. Just like ray QS would be the same as ray QR, because they both start at Q and go in that direction. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different ones, but yeah, RT is meant to be the obvious one that draws your eye.